What's up, beautiful people? My name is Popo. I give food, lifestyle, and fashion content, and I am also a new mommy to a amazing little boy. So if you're into that kind of content, please hit the subscribe button and join the first team, okay? So basically I've been gone for a while, so I thought that we should do a chit chat video. But before we get into that, I would like to thank everyone who's currently subscribed for the continuous love and support. We're still on the road to 300 subscribers, so if you can, please hit that subscribe button, and if you like my content, please hit that subscribe button. Let's get into this video. So I gave birth at St. Augustine's Hospital, and I'm just here to tell you that I wish my birth was an amazing experience, but it was not. I'm telling you, my birth was disgusting, okay? It was horrible. It was a mess. I hated every single part of it. In fact, I'm here to tell you, as a message to a loyal hen, to not give natural birth, okay? The only thing amazing about my birth was my son being healthy and alive and beautiful. That's it. Everything else, I'm good. Like, I'm so good. I'm so traumatized, and I just need to tell you everything. But first, let's just get into the story, and maybe you'll feel me. Maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from. I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Oh no, we have a truck making noise. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys can't hear that. Okay, so I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning. 2 a.m. in the morning, I wake up, I go to the bathroom just to pee. I'm not feeling anything, to be quite honest. I just needed to pee. Pregnant women know we just pee like 10 million times during the night, especially if you're like me and you're drinking like 3 liters of water a day. So I get up to pee, and then I realize there's blood. And at this point, I'm freaking out. So a little bit of a backstory. I had a miscarriage 3 years ago. So I'm not sure what's good, what's bad anymore. Like, well, at that time, I'm not sure because I saw blood. And the first time around, I also saw blood. So me and my fiance's first instinct is to panic. We're thinking something's wrong. Even though, you know, we were well within the due date, but we were like, something's wrong. You know, my son was about 38 weeks when he was born, and I was just freaking out. You know, it's 2 a.m., I'm bleeding. I'm literally thinking of the first time that it happened, and you know, it was probably the PTSD or the trauma that I did experience the first time around. But so I obviously wake my fiance up. I'm in a panic. I'm crying because I'm thinking, we've had this whole journey. It's a full pregnancy. I can't be bleeding right now. Get me to a hospital. I need help. So that's how my birth began. So initially, there's no good feelings about it anyway, because right now I'm just wanting to hear my son kick or hear his heartbeat and just, please, give birth. I want to see my baby. I want to see my baby alive. So I'm already in that mode. So we get to the hospital, we go to the trauma unit because I'm bleeding, and they take me through to casualty, and the service was disgusting. Like, the service was disgusting. So the first time around when I did miscarry, I was in a public hospital. So I assumed that being in a private hospital now, obviously things would be a whole lot better and the service would be a whole lot better. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I was wrong. Okay, I don't know if it's because when I had my miscarriage at first I was in Port Shepstone, so maybe Durban hospitals and Port Shepstone hospitals do things differently. But when I arrived in Port Shepstone hospital, they put me in a bed immediately. They made my fiance handle everything, such as, you know, the admin, my ID number, all of that. He went and handled all of that while they were looking at me. And, you know, they were taking my blood and stuff, which I would expect a public hospital, which I would not expect a public hospital to do, and I would expect a private hospital to do. You know what I mean? I get there, I'm freaking out. How am I freaking out about wanting to hear my baby's heartbeat and wanting to be seen by a doctor, and I'm out here calling out my ID number? How? Like, I just want to understand how. 25 minutes since I got into the hospital. I made sure I timed it because at that point I was like, if anything happens to my son, I will go crazy. So I was like, put a timer on. It was 25 minutes of me doing admin stuff, 25 minutes of me bleeding, 25 minutes of me freaking out, 25 minutes of me not knowing whether my baby was okay, whether my baby was in distress or not. Horrible experience. Disgusting. Then we need to take a COVID test. Another 15 minutes of us waiting on a COVID test. We asked in advance, okay? I called and I asked the hospital in advance, is there anything that I need to do to prepare? Should I have a COVID test? Like, what is the protocol? I looked online about what the protocol was for if you want to have if you want to have a supporting partner there. I wanted to know what the procedure was, because if I knew that we needed to take a COVID test, I would have gone and tested as soon as I knew that my son is almost due. Like, I would have gone and tested at 37 weeks to 38 weeks, and then I would have known that we have our COVID test with us when we go to the hospital, so that we don't have to worry about that. But I must say that luckily the COVID test only took 15 minutes, which I'm only saying luckily now, but at that moment 15 minutes felt like forever without knowing if your baby is okay or not. So, horrible experience. So we get taken to the maternity ward, and when I get to the maternity ward, I'm thinking, finally someone is gonna look at my son, someone is gonna check for the fetal heartbeat. Boy, was I wrong. I get there, they're telling me that they want to know if I'm in labor or not. I can feel my contractions. I tell the nurse I'm timing my contractions. My contractions are currently 4 minutes apart. Please, I am in labor. Just check my son's heartbeat. They tell me to go into the bathroom. They take my pee. They tell me I'm in labor. Duh, I know I'm in labor. I just told you that my contractions are 4 minutes apart. But even if they weren't, if I am feeling certain pains, surely the first thing you do is to check for the fetal heartbeat, I didn't know if this is what the hospital was doing, if this is because I'm not rich, if this is because I'm not a VIP patient, if this is because I'm a black woman, if this is just, what normal hospital procedure is, if normal hospital procedure just sucks. I literally wasn't sure why you would look at me and treat me the way you treated me. It was horrendous. I was lucky that the nurses were kind, but every single procedure was horrible. Those nurses were literally kind. They were just telling me that this is something that they have to do. So none of them were mean or cold until the next day, which I'll tell you more about that. And it wasn't the nurse who was a problem, it was the pediatric doctor that was also just a nightmare on her own. And finally, they check the fetal heartbeat, and my baby's heartbeat is beating. He did kick while I was in the bathroom peeing. So at that moment, I'm like, I can hear you kick. I'm so glad that I can feel you kick. Now, if you have lost a baby, you know how special those kicks are. You go back to them literally throughout the pregnancy. From when your baby starts kicking, you freak yourself out about wondering whether the baby's okay or not. So you know that those kicks are literally gold to you, because you just know that, okay, you're in there, you're okay, you're safe. I'm glad. So it helped me feel a whole lot better. And so they check the fetal heartbeat, the heart rate is fine, and then with every contraction though, I think my son's heart elevated, so I had to start the breathing and whatever. So they check how dilated I am, and then they tell me that I'm 2 centimeters dilated. It is I'd say about 2:30 a.m. I'm 2 centimeters dilated, and they tell me we can only check your dilation when it's 6 a.m. I can only get epidural when I'm 3 centimeters, right? That's what the nurse said. I can only get my epidural when I'm 3 centimeters, right? My plan was to go in natural with epidural. Nothing about natural birth without epidural was cute to me. I do not associate pain with beauty. Miss me with pain. I do not have to go through pain in order to get something precious. I don't believe in that concept. So there was no way in hell I was going to say, give me natural birth. I want to go through the experience of giving life. No. I wanted that epidural. I told my gynae, I told the nurses, and the nurses told me that I can only get epidural when I'm 3 centimeters dilated. And they told me that the next nurse that's going to check how dilated I am has to be at 6 a.m. So you're telling me that at 2, I have to wait 4 hours to get a nurse to check how dilated I am at 6 a.m. Make it make sense. Like, make it make sense. How do you know if I've advanced with the dilation between that time? And I actually dilated really quickly. And that is what pissed me off the most. I was so angry. I hate St. Augustine's Hospital. I was shocked. Like, I was shocked at the treatment that I got. I was shocked at their procedure. I was shocked at their rules. How are you going to tell me that you only have to wait for the 6 a.m. nurse to come and check how dilated I am, when things can move so fast in labor? Like, no one's labor is the same. No one. So I wait, and I think I'll say about half an hour to 45 minutes goes past, because my fiance took his COVID test, and then they told me that my fiance is only allowed to come to see me once I am in active labor, which I think they said was about 7? No, 7 was where I was. I think they said active labor is about 5 centimeters dilated. I can't remember when they said active labor is, but my fiance could only come when I was in active labor. So fine, I tell them I'm okay with that. Mind you, I had already asked previously, what is the procedure? They told me that my fiance would be with me from the beginning all the way until birth, and then after that he would stay for a couple of hours, and then after that he would have to go home when I'm transferred to the ward. So I was on medical aid, but I didn't get a private suite because I'd have to take out extra money to get a private suite. And baby, we had just taken out 3,000 rand for a cot, so we were like, no, no, we're not doing a private suite thing, just as long as I'm in obviously a good hospital, which we thought St. Augustine's was. So fine. I am now feeling extreme labor pain. Like, this is definitely way more advanced than the first, current cramps that I was feeling or contractions that I was feeling. So I call the nurse and I tell her, like, these contractions are way too advanced. Please, can you check? I'm definitely more than 3 centimeters dilated, because I remember from the last time that I'm feeling really close to like hectic, unbearable pain. She tells me that she can't check me. The next nurse can only check me at 6 a.m. Fine. I sit there. Now my contractions are making me moan. Like, now my contractions are making me like have to breathe through them, have to hold stuff. And I call her again. Nurse, please help me. Like, these contractions are far too advanced. I will not be able to make it to 6 a.m. I can't do it. Please, I need an epidural. Like, I need an epidural. She tells me, no, she's just gonna call my gynae to check if it's okay for her to check me or something like that. Like, something about calling my gynae to let him know that my contractions have advanced or something. So now I don't know the conversations that happened between my gynae and between the gynae and the nurses. And that's also just what hurt me so much, because when you're pregnant, you're so vulnerable and you've got so much trust in your gynae, because it's the only person who you think is gonna make sure that you're okay and is gonna deliver your baby safely. So I don't know if they had a conversation. I don't know what the conversations between the gynae and the nurse was, but the nurse doesn't come back. And now I'm feeling the urge to push. I'm texting my fiance, babe, this is not okay. I'm way too advanced. They're telling me they're only going to check me here at 6 a.m. and I am in pain and I'm feeling the urge to push. This is not normal. I call the nurse again and I tell her, I'm feeling the urge to push right now, okay? Literally with every contraction, my body wants to push. She now says, okay, let me check you. When the nurse checks me, I am 7 centimeters dilated. So from 2 centimeters to 7 centimeters dilated. I'm pretty sure that happened in about an hour. She says, I can now call my fiance, I'm in active labor, and then she says that there's no time for an epidural now. I said, excuse me? I know, I did my research. I know that I can get an epidural up until my baby's head has, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll write it down here. I don't know what the word is. I'm honestly still going through mom brain. But I know that I can have epidural up until my son's head is has crowned, that's the word. Up until my son's head has crowned, I can get epidural. An epidural takes 15 to 20 minutes to install. So the nurse lied to me and said, it's going to take such a long time, epidural is so complicated, you're going to have to give birth naturally. I said, call my gynecologist right now, tell him I'm not doing it, I'd rather go into C-section. There's no way in hell I'm going through this. I don't want to go through this. Do you know the pain of putting trust in medical staff? Because you're in a vulnerable position, you're in pain, you're vulnerable, you don't know what's wrong or what's right, you just know how you want to feel during this process. I'm still so traumatized by it. Literally talking about it literally gives me a lump in my throat, because I feel like I did not deserve that. Like, I did not deserve to be treated like that. Nobody deserved to be treated like that. The nurse takes me to a different ward. Now I'm screaming. Like, now I can absolutely feel these contractions. I'm going through the worst kind of pain. Like, the worst kind of pain. It literally feels like I'm breaking bones. It literally feels like bones are breaking in my body with every single contraction. And worse, I'm supposed to be fighting this urge to push, and I can't fight this urge to push. So now I'm in this other room, my fiance comes. Like, I'm in so much pain that my body has started producing some hormone that literally makes me feel like I'm high. Okay, I'm high, I'm running out of breath, I need water. This woman keeps telling me to breathe through the tube. I'm pissed that I have to go through birth with no painkiller whatsoever. I'm pissed off that I have to go through birth with no epidural. I'm pissed. Like, I am so angry. And worse, my baby was a big baby. My baby was weighing 3.8 kgs when he was born. That's a big baby. That is a massive baby, okay? It's probably the head, because family has big heads. Okay, I'm joking. Jokes aside, I had a big baby, okay? I had a big baby. So, fine. I go through I keep telling the nurse I'm getting the urge to push, and now I can't even hold it. And you know what? I don't care. With everything she's telling me to hold it in, I couldn't. My baby was coming. And that's what she was not understanding. I can't hold in I'm not at the place where I can just breathe through it. I'm way too advanced. Like, my baby is here. I can feel my baby come out. Like, the head is coming. My gynae checks in. Hi, Bongire, how are you feeling? I'm pissed. I'm literally telling him I'm pissed. I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this. Literally, I'm in so much pain talking about this, because telling someone how much you don't want to experience this, and you still having to experience it, sucks so much. I don't even have the words for how much it sucks. It sucks, okay? It's horrible, okay? It's horrible. I will never forget that. Now I literally have accepted that I will have to go through this naturally, without painkillers, without an epidural. And I start crying. My fiance is next to me, he's holding my hand the whole time, and I'm literally telling him, I can't do this is not what I wanted. I was 9 centimeters when the doctor told me that I can push now because I want to, but he would have wanted to wait it for 1 more centimeter, but I just couldn't take it anymore. I said, no, get this baby out of me. And I was such a bitch, because I was pissed, and because this is not what I had planned, and because there's no medical reason behind me not getting epidural besides the fact that the doctor waited for me, the nurse waited for me to be highly dilated to the point where I couldn't get epidural, which again was a lie. I push through, I push, I take a break, I push again, I take a break, I push again, and then my baby arrives. So he arrives, and apparently I tore really badly. I had to get an episiotomy, and it was really, really bad, guys. Like, it was really bad. Like, oh my gosh, nothing about my birth process was cute. Nothing about it was cute, okay? My baby arrived. That was like the only cute thing about it, okay? My baby arrived. And yeah, I saw my baby come out, but I tore so badly. So they take him, they wipe him, they give him to his father while they're busy stitching me up. Then at least I get a happy moment where at least my fiance and I are, holding our baby, and we're having a moment where that part was, of course, so beautiful. And my son was so beautiful. Like, he was just, his eyes closed and his cute lips and just his cute body. And it literally warms my heart that my son is healthy, and you know that he's honestly the sweetest little boy, and he smiles now when you look at him and when you talk to him. And it's been such an amazing journey with him. But the birth process, I'm so sorry, was not. That was disgusting. I never want to go through that ever again in my life. If I had to advise a woman, I would say do not go for natural birth. If you have the option to, if you have the choice to, please don't go through natural birth. Okay, I know they tell you about the C-section stitches taking time to heal. If you tear, you have stitches down there too, and they absolutely take time to heal as well. And worse, they're in a place where you're bleeding and pooping and peeing because they're down there, and you have to keep that area so clean, and you have to take such hectic painkillers for it not to hurt. Wow, the healing is horrible that there's no difference. In fact, a C-section, I would say choose a C-section, because at least the stitches are right here, so they're not in an area that's non-sanitary because you're constantly bleeding and sweating down there and whatever else is going on down there. It was literally the worst 3 weeks of my life healing from those stitches, and oh my god, it was traumatizing healing from those stitches, because you have to clean it with every single time you go to the bathroom, and on top of that you obviously have to bath twice a day, and you have to soak yourself in salt water twice a day. And it was horrendous, but I figured out some hacks that kept me going, and I will do a video separately for hacks to make that process a lot more bearable. Literally, my hacks helped me so much that I have to share them, but for the most part, that process was disgusting. That process was horrible. Birth was horrible. I'm never doing natural birth ever again. I'm always going to go for C-section, because on top of that, with natural birth, you have to go through the pain of labor, the actual contractions, then go through the pain of tearing, then go through the pain of healing from your tearing and from your pelvis being messed up. When your pelvis is messed up, it means you can't sit properly, you can't walk properly. It's hideous. Like, I can't even explain to you how hideous it is. It's horrible. It's horrible. But at least I have my son, and I love my son. So that is the end of this chit chat update on my birth story. Hopefully we can do more updates on my life and what's currently happening, and obviously some more mommy content. And hopefully the mommy content that I do produce is going to be of a way more happier note, because I've been enjoying having my son around so much. So there is a lot of positivity coming and just a lot of good vibe videos. But I just had to be honest, and I had to stop the next woman from thinking that natural birth is better than C-section, because that's such a rumor. It's just cheaper. It's just cheaper. It's not better at all. Not better for you, at least. It's not. And I just had to pass that message along, so that if maybe you are pregnant or expecting and you think that you can't make a decision between C-section and natural birth, I hope that this video can help you. This is the end of today's video. I will be uploading a lot more fashion, food and mommy content, and obviously some lifestyle content and some vlogs. And the next video after this will be my baby shower vlog, which was such a beautiful experience. So stay tuned, subscribe. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or any comments, please do comment down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But for now, live free, live lovely, live authentically. From your girl, Popo. Love you loads. Mwah!